Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that, let's be honest, can feel like a total nightmare for a lot of English learners, the keyword transformation. But what if I told you it's not about memorizing endless, boring grammar rules? What if it's actually a code, a puzzle? And today, you and we're going to crack it wide open. Our guide on this adventure, who goes by My English Bro, starts with this. And, this really hits home, doesn't it? It's for anyone who's ever just stared at an exam paper and thought, there's no way. It's a shout out to that struggle and a promise that, hey, maybe it's not so impossible after all. And this is the whole game changer right here. What if you could just throw out the idea of brute force memorization? The big idea is that there's a secret, a method, for spotting simple, repeatable patterns hidden inside the language. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. It's pretty cool. So first things first, let's look our enemy right in the eye. For so many people, this part of the exam, the keyword transformation, it feels like a gauntlet, a brutal test that's just designed to make you fail. Yeah, there's a good reason it's called the most feared part of the exam. The task itself sounds simple enough, right? Rewrite a sentence using a specific word. But in reality, it feels like trying to solve a puzzle with a bunch of extra pieces that don't fit. You start second-guessing everything. That feeling of uncertainty, that's what we're about to fix. And that's where this whole idea of this secret pattern method comes into play. It's our secret weapon, our guide for getting through the gauntlet. This right here is the big aha moment. This is the mental shift. You stop trying to hold a million different rules in your head. Instead, you just train your brain to spot a few key patterns that show up again and again and again. It's about being smart, not just working hard. Okay, enough theory. Let's actually do this. We'll start with something we do in conversation all the time, guessing or speculating about what's happening right now. Like, maybe she's at the store, or I'm sure he's busy. This is where the first pattern starts to pop. All right, think of this table as our decoder ring. It creates a super clear, direct link. If you see the keyword maybe or perhaps, boom, that's your brain's signal to use may or might. You see I'm sure, that automatically maps to must. And if you see impossible, well, that just becomes can't. It's basically an input-output system.
So simple.
Our guide breaks it down into 3 dead simple steps. 1, you find the keyword. 2, you use our little decoder map to pick the right structure. And 3, this part is super important, you change the main verb back to its simplest form, its base form. That's it. It's a process. Let's watch it work. The prompt is, maybe Carla works on weekends. Okay, step 1, spot the keyword, maybe. Got it. Step 2, map maybe to our structure, which is might. Step 3, take the verb works and strip it back to its base form, which is just work. Put it all together, Carla might work on weekends. See? No guesswork, just logic. And here's a classic trap that this method helps you avoid. So many people get this wrong. After you use one of those special modal verbs, like might, must, or can't, the very next verb has to be in that simple base form. No S, no ing, nothing. It's always she might know, never she might knows. It's a small detail, but it makes all the difference. Okay, so you've got the present tense down. You're feeling good. Let's level up. We're going to see how the exact same logic applies when we speculate about the past. The core idea is the same, but the structure just gets a little predictable upgrade. And here it is, the decoder key for the past. See how it just builds on what we already learned? It's so elegant. You take the modals from before, must and can't, and you just add have plus the past participle. So I'm sure he did it becomes he must have done it. It's an evolution of the pattern, not a brand new one. And look, the steps are practically identical. You spot the keyword, you map it to the new past structure. The only tiny difference is in step 3. Instead of the base form, now you need the past participle. Like finished, seen, or gone. It's this consistency that makes the whole system just click. Let's run another one through the machine. I'm sure Tom finished his report. Keyword is I'm sure. We map that to our past structure, must have. Now we take the verb finished and turn it into its past participle, which, lucky for us, is still just finished. And we get, Tom must have finished his report. Perfect. Now, what about when you're sure something didn't happen? This is a really great detail from the source. You might think it's mustn't have, but it's not. The correct pattern here is can't have. So a sentence like, I'm sure he didn't see the email transforms into he can't have seen the email. It's a specific little rule that once you know it, just makes perfect sense. So we've cracked a couple of these patterns, but honestly, the real win here, the big prize, isn't just about scoring a few extra points on a test. It's way bigger than that. It's about completely changing how you see and interact with the English language. I absolutely love this quote because it's true. When you start to see these patterns for yourself, you stop doing that clunky translation in your head. You start to feel the internal logic of the language. It's less about memorizing rules and more about developing a genuine intuition. So, what can you do starting today? Well, here's some brilliant advice from our guide. First, be consistent. A little bit every day is way better than cramming. Second, really try to understand the why behind a pattern, not just the what. And finally, pay attention to where you mess up. Your mistakes are like your personal tour guide, showing you exactly what to work on next. At the end of the day, this whole thing is about transformation of a sentence, of an exam score, and really of your confidence with English. But this mindset, this ability to look for the hidden code inside a complex system, that doesn't have to stop with grammar. So the real question is, what else will you transform?